In the quiet town of Oxford, Michigan, a devastating event unfolded that would capture national attention and spark a legal battle centered on parental responsibility in the wake of a school shooting. The case of Jennifer Crumbley, mother of Ethan Crumbley, who carried out a tragic shooting at Oxford High School in 2021, has been a focal point in this intense scrutiny. This exposition will recount the sequence of events, decisions, and legal proceedings that followed, marked by a serious tone to honor the gravity of the situation. In late November 2021, just days after Thanksgiving, James Crumbley purchased a 9mm handgun as an early Christmas present for his son, Ethan Crumbley. This act, described by some as a misguided attempt to uplift Ethan, would later be scrutinized in court. Jennifer Crumbley celebrated this gift by taking Ethan to a shooting range for a mom and son day, and an activity not uncommon in the community where firearms and hunting are part of the local culture. Despite this seemingly innocuous family activity, warning signs were emerging. A teacher discovered Ethan searching for ammunition on his phone during class, to which Jennifer nonchalantly responded with a text message to Ethan indicating she wasn't upset but advised discretion. The situation escalated the day before the shooting when another teacher found a note on Ethan's desk depicting a handgun and alarming messages suggesting violence and a plea for help. School officials convened a meeting with Ethan and his parents the morning of the shooting, after which Ethan was allowed to remain in school with the loaded pistol in his backpack. On that fateful day, Ethan Crumbley opened fire at Oxford High School, resulting in the deaths of four students. In the aftermath, as the community reeled from the tragedy, legal attention quickly turned to Ethan's parents, Jennifer and James Crumbley. They were charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, accused of negligence in securing the firearm and ignoring their son's mental health distress. Jennifer Crumbley's trial began with a focus on whether she could be held criminally responsible for the actions of her son. Prosecutors argued that she and her husband provided Ethan access to a firearm while ignoring clear signs of his deteriorating mental health. They highlighted Jennifer's involvement in taking Ethan to the shooting range and her social media posts about the gun. In her defense, Jennifer testified that she was not responsible for the purchase or storage of the gun, portraying the shooting as unforeseeable and stressing that her husband was tasked with securing the firearm. But as the trial progressed, attention was drawn to Ethan's mental state, his fascination with firearms, and the missed opportunities to intervene. Jennifer's lawyers convened that the prosecution was setting a dangerous precedent, suggesting that parents could be held criminally responsible for their children's unforeseeable actions. They argued for her acquittal, emphasizing the lack of direct evidence that she knew of the danger her son posed to others. But that is not true because you can see this geometry test from Ethan in which he had drawn a corpse, a gun, and the words, "My life is useless, the thoughts of one stop, help me," and blood everywhere. If that is not concerning, well, imagine the fact that his mother got more upset at the fact that he had faced a geometry test than the drawing and words themselves. Even so, during the trial, she wanted to make it seem that they were pretty close.
I thought we were pretty close. We would talk. I mean, we did a lot of things together. I trusted him.
Notice that her arguments are quite vague. We did a lot of things together, but she doesn't really give many details about that. She repeats it a couple times that they were quite close as a family, but she doesn't sound that convincing.
And I felt like I had an open door and he can come to me about anything. I mean, I felt as a family we were the three of us were really close.
There was also the fact that he was having these paranoia attacks and she was just dismissing them, thinking that he was just messing around, saying that their house was haunted. But it doesn't help that the house also was neglected. This is the state of Ethan's room, and it's not only his room, but the entire house that was in the filthiest state you could imagine. Not to mention that he texts her constantly for help, and there's one text where he says, "At least please text back," and she testified, and I kid you not, quote, I'm sure I saw his messages, but they just didn't stick out to me. And that is if she acknowledges having seen them at all.
I did not go through his text messages. I didn't have a reason to. His bedroom, I would go through when I clean it. I come across things, I look through it to see if it was something I needed to keep or throw away. But I never went through his text messages.
Well, I don't think she cleaned his room either. She even claimed total unawareness that he was torturing birds and even kept a severed bird head in his room for months. There were also concerns at school. One email from one teacher to another reads, "Could you please touch base with Ethan Crumbley?" In his autobiography poem, he said that he feels terrible and that his family is a mistake. Unusual responses for sure. And, well, Jennifer's reaction to those messages is rather underwhelming.
Um, I'd be definitely concerned why he feels like his family's a mistake and he feels terrible. So that would be a concern to me.
Okay. So this is something you were unaware of.
Correct.
Ethan's journal is even more disturbing. "I'm about to shoot up the school and spend the rest of my life in prison. I have zero help for my mental problems, and it's causing me to shoot up this school." It's also important to mention that Jennifer not even once took him to a therapist or a counselor. His overall health was so neglected that at some point he had 13 cavities while she was busy riding horses and with an extramarital affair. The jury was tasked with determining whether the tragic events at Oxford High School were reasonably foreseeable to Jennifer Crumbley and if her actions or lack thereof directly contributed to them. The judge instructed that for a conviction, it must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the deaths were a natural or reasonable result of Jennifer's acts. As deliberations began, the case against Jennifer Crumbley stood as a poignant reminder of the complex interplay between parental responsibility, mental health awareness, and gun safety. It highlighted the need for vigilance and proactive measures to prevent such tragedies, raising critical questions about the extent of parental culpability in their children's actions. Ultimately, Jennifer Crumbley was found guilty of manslaughter. This case, by placing a spotlight on the role of parents in preventing school shootings, opens a new chapter in the legal and moral debates that surround such incidents. As we consider the implications, it becomes essential to explore its potential influence on past and future cases of school shootings, the evolving legal standards for parental liability, and the broader societal implications for gun ownership and mental health support. This raises questions about the threshold for parental negligence and the extent of which parents can or should be held accountable for the violent actions of their children. This case could potentially pave the way for more stringent legal scrutiny of parents' roles in similar future incidents, shifting that legal landscape toward greater accountability. And another crucial aspect brought to the fore by this case is the role of mental health awareness and early intervention. The missed opportunities to address Ethan Crumbley's mental health issues, despite clear signs of distress, underscore the need for more robust systems for identifying and supporting individuals who may pose a risk to themselves and others. And this case could encourage schools, communities, and families to adopt more proactive approaches to mental health, emphasizing the importance of timely intervention and support for at-risk youth. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. And don't forget to download my 100 free body language tips in the description of this video if you want to read anyone like a book. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.